What is going on, everyone? In today's video I'm going to be sharing my settings throughout my 8,000 hours of playing in this game. These settings helped me reach SSL 12 different seasons. If you guys like these kinds of tutorials and want more videos in the future, please leave a like and comment down below. Alrighty, starting out with the first thing, we're going to go over to our camera settings. So first and foremost, camera shake has to be turned off. I don't prefer it personally. A lot of people don't prefer it because it's a huge distraction. There's a lot of things you got to focus on. Let's just keep it simple. I like to have my field of view at 110. I prefer this because I genuinely look around more than I do looking at my car. Okay, if you guys are new and you guys prefer a closer camera, sure, that's fine. But later down the road, you have to pay attention to not only where you're at, but also the opponents that are in front of you. It's very, very important. So that's why I have it at that. 270. I kind of switch back and forth to 260, 270 sometimes. I like this. This is just my preference. That's just how far your camera is from your car. Okay, so that's where I like that. My height, same thing. I kind of go between 90 to 100. If I'm trying to do, let's say, a flicks, right, and I'm doing a lot of ones, 90 is really good because it focuses kind of on the car a little bit more, and I can get more powerful flicks. That's just my preference. But typically I really like my 100 on height. And then my angle is -3. The reason why I like the -3 specifically is that it's a good balance between where it's at above my car and also where is it facing at. If you have it just really like at a huge negative, it's going to emphasize looking more at your car. I don't like that personally, so -3. My stiffness is really good for flicks. If you want to feel like you're playing speedy, have a less stiffness, and you'll start to see your camera like move with it. And it just, I don't know why, for me and for many others, it kind of makes me feel faster. But if I want really consistent, really good flicks, I have mine at about 0.40. The highest I'd go is 0.45 on stiffness. Swivel speed is more so just how fast your camera moves whenever you are moving around. So, for example, my right analog stick, when I go left and right, and so on and so forth, that's where the speed will come in. So I don't like it too high because you don't want it to be too chaotic. I like the smooth transition, so on and so forth. So 5 is a sweet spot for me. I like that. Transition speed is where you take ball cam on and ball cam off. So the higher it is, the more sensitive it becomes. So, for example, you see how it snaps to it? That's because of the speed. Where I have mine at, which is about 1.3, it's a lot smoother in transition, you see? So it's not super chaotic, it's not really aggressive with that. So that's just my preference there. Alright, now the last thing, invert swivel, turn that off. A lot of people tend to forget about this because, they're like, okay, I'm done, we did all the no. Invert swivel basically means if you look down on your right analog stick, your camera is going to look up. It's the opposite. We don't want that. We do not want that. So if you have it on, uncheck this box immediately. It will help you out a lot. Alrighty, so now over to control settings, we're going to take a look. Steering sensitivity is really important. So if you move your left analog stick, right, whether it's right or left, the higher the sensitivity for steering and aerial, the least amount of angle you need to push or pull, depending on the area, on your left analog stick before it starts to register the input. So keep that in mind. If you find yourself oversteering a lot, or it's just really sensitive, lower your steering sensitivity. And if it's the other way around, obviously up it a little bit. But where I prefer is 1.50. It's not too high, not too low, and yeah, that's my preference there. For controller dead zone, this is a very important one for a lot of comp players. 0.07 is my preferred one. If you have a bit of stick drift, you're gonna notice your right analog stick, your camera's gonna move on its own a little bit. If that does happen, turn it up a little bit. At most, in my experience, I won't go above 12. I just can't. It's way too slow. And like I said, with the previous sensitivities, the higher the dead zone, the more you have to push your analog stick side to side for it to register. So I don't like it personally. I have mine at 0.07. Final dodge dead zone, I have mine at 0.55. If you guys backflip a lot, don't worry. This doesn't really matter too much. You don't have to copy this one specifically, but this is just my preference. I did have mine at 0.80 before all of this, so mess around with it, see what's best for you. Controller vibration off. Never ever have that. Just like a lot of people say in Call of Duty, it's just a huge distraction. And with shooting accuracy, you want to make sure that you just keep it consistent and nothing kind of interferes with that. Alrighty, over to the interface here. So the interface scale is obviously 100%. That's, I think default. The display scale, my preference, I like my menu or my UIs a little bit smaller. It's all preference there. But the most important one is the nameplate scale. I will explain why. I have mine at 130% because on kickoffs you can see if someone's challenging. You can see how they're approaching the ball because the nameplate is bigger, and as they get closer, the nameplate gets even bigger. So it's much easier for you to see your opponent by the bigger the nameplate is. So mess around with that. Alrighty guys, the most important part of the settings in this whole video is your video. So a lot of people, and I know you guys, for some new people, vertical sync is never the way. Turn that off immediately. No, it is so bad. Because what it does is it's trying to synchronize your frames from like your GPU, and what that can cause is screen tears. And also it reduces your frame rate. So for example, console players, if you guys are console and you guys have the vertical sync, you're gonna be capped every single time. So you're gonna be, whether that's 30 frames, I think for PlayStation 4 or Xbox, whatever the case may be, but for the new gen consoles, I think you're gonna be capped around 60 to 90 frames. When you uncheck that vertical sync, you're gonna know a significant difference with your gameplay and overall how easy it is to track the ball. Highly advise you to turn vertical sync off. Alright, everything else is kind of preference. I play with a lot of this off because I want to maximize my frames. If you guys have a fantastic computer, if you guys like a bit of good graphics, good quality, I can turn my textures over to high quality, and that's about it. I don't really change much. I keep mine very simple. The main thing is vertical sync off. Anti-aliasing is the same thing as well. I turn that off. I don't really like it. I just keep mine very, very simple. For my audios, the master volume, I mean, again, this is all preference. If you guys are the kinds of players that don't like audio, I promise you, please play with some audio. Audio cues are very important, just like in any other game. If you can hear someone's car behind you, you know what I mean? They're probably going to demo you or bump you. So these are very, very nice to get because not a lot, you can't see everything on the field, right? But your awareness could go from many things, whether that's visual or hearing, obviously. So yes, definitely continue to have the audio. And yeah, Thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys been showing. I really do appreciate it. If you guys want more tutorials and more settings videos later on in the future, leave a like and comment down for more. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.